Why should I get involved with this at the moment? The one thing that I've learned about money is that most people don't understand what money is. And I do a series that I call, money is nothing but energy. And over time, money has changed from the early days of cowrie shells to the fact that now we're almost in a digital economy or a cashless society where people don't walk around with cash anymore. They have credit cards, they have debit cards, they do everything through the internet now, through cashless payments. But the future of money is now moving digital. We're now in what we call a Web3 society. We know what the internet did for the entire world, connected the entire world. But what Bitcoin is doing and blockchain is doing, it is one of the greatest technological marvels that the world has ever seen. And I'm going to give you a few examples on how this is possible. The reason why the internet was so big is because it was the sharing of the information superhighway. You can now share information, contact each other all around the world, regardless of location. But all you're doing is sharing information. The technology behind Bitcoin is allowing us to do more than share. It's allowing us to record data of ownership. Ownership is a big deal. So one example in South Africa, after apartheid, when the governments were saying, we are now going to give the land back to its original inhabitants, that the farmers from the colonizers that had it for over 100 years, we're going to give them back. But what ended up happening over 100 years or so, not too many records from the early days were being saved to be able to say who owns what land. So you had property disputes. You had disputes between family, distant cousins who might have shared the same great-great-great-grandfather or grandmother, yet they have equal claim to the property. Or even the farmers that lived on those lands for 75 years would say it is our property. So now you have a nightmare on who decides who owns what. If you had the blockchain in place, the blockchain would have been able to record all of that data, and that data is not being, it can't be changed, it can't be tampered with, it can't be manipulated. It is recorded, and it is trust. And that is the ultimate thing of trust. For example, how the banking system works. We have something that we live in called the two-ledger system, meaning when you do a transaction, you're given a receipt. If you go to the store and you buy something, the store gives you a receipt, and that is your proof of purchase. But what if you want to give that item back? What if you want to exchange it? If you go back to the store and you don't have that receipt, you don't have proof that you actually purchased that product. See so what you have to do is you have to get a lawyer. You might have to go to court. You have to get the bank. You have all these third-party intermediaries that verify that this transaction took place. That's what banks are for. But what the blockchain now does, it eliminates the third party, because when a transaction takes place, it is being recorded on everybody's computer around the world. It can never be challenged. So one thing here in the United States is our biggest issue is voting. Because of our last election, there's a lot of distrust in our voting process. In the future, mark my words, voting will be on the blockchain, because it's nothing but math and not an individual based on their political ideology to be able to dictate how you're going to vote. So that's an application in the real world. But financially, for most people want to know, how can this change my life financially? How can I benefit from this? Well, one of the basic things that I teach is no matter what your education is, if you're just getting started, the first thing you want to be able to do is get a Bitcoin wallet. Get a Bitcoin wallet. After you get a Bitcoin wallet, the next thing you want to do is start to purchase Bitcoin however way you can afford to do so. And that's important, because you don't want to be in a situation where you can't afford, you get in on it and you're thinking, I want to get rich quick. That is not what Bitcoin and crypto is about. You can get wealthy fast, but it's not get rich quick. This is at least a 2 to 3 year game plan because $100, $1,000, $10,000 can change your life. I'll give you an example. There's a token called Binance Coin. Anybody ever heard of Binance? It is the largest exchange in the world. In the summer of 2017, I saw Binance when it was worth 60 cents. 60 cents. 4 years later, it got over $600 a coin. $1,000 of that would have made you a millionaire just from $1,000. There's another token called FTT, which is the FTX exchange. It's built by an American who's 29 years old. He didn't even launch it in the United States because he didn't want to go through the regulations of being legal and recognized here. So he launched it in Hong Kong. 2 years later, he is now the richest man underneath the age of 30. He's worth more than $30 billion in 2 years. If you would have invested in his token at the time, it was worth $1.15. It got all the way to $88. Then there's another exchange called OKB that at one point that token was worth 54 cents. Today, that token was worth over $30. If you would have put $1,000 in that, you'd have more than $1 million. You've heard of Dogecoin. Dogecoin was created as a yes. Okay, I'm sorry. Somebody unmuted themselves. So you heard of stories about the Dogecoin, for example, that was created a couple of years ago as a joke. The people who created okay, there we go. The people who created Dogecoin didn't believe in cryptocurrency. They believed in gold. They believed in stock market, and they said cryptocurrency is a scam. It's a bubble. It's going to go away, and we're going to prove it. We made up this dog coin that doesn't mean anything. And when the price went up, the creators of the token sold everything. And then they wanted to laugh at the community. 2 years later, Dogecoin exploded because Elon Musk started tweeting about it and talking about it, and people became multimillionaires almost overnight because of that token. If you look at the entire crypto market cap, just 3 years ago, it was less than $300 billion, the entire market cap. Today, even with the 20% drop over the last 48 hours, it is over $1.8 trillion market cap and just getting started. So if you were ever to say, you know, Brandon, I've been hearing about this Bitcoin, and even though I don't understand it, am I too late? Am I too late to get involved? No, you're not. Where you are today is where the internet was in 1996, 1997. Remember, in those days, we had in the United States AOL dial-up, where there was no high-speed internet. And whenever you tried to log into a web page, it would go like this. It took you forever for a web page to load up. You had Yahoo in those early days, which is a major search engine. You might have heard of MySpace. You might have heard of Blockbuster Video. Well, in the United States, fast forward a couple of years later, Netflix, Google, Facebook is now taking advantage of the high-speed internet. The blockchain technology where we are right now is where the internet was in those early days. So what is the biggest company in the world, the most expensive company in the world is Amazon with Jeff Bezos. And he's worth, what is it, maybe over $300 billion now. This gentleman got started in the early days of the internet. Where we are with Bitcoin, we are in the early days of Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. Let me tell you another way to look at this. Think of the gold. I think everybody understands that gold is valuable. It's been here since the beginning of time. And why is gold valuable? We're not walking into the grocery store to buy milk and buy food and buy clothing with gold. We use gold as a store of value because even if there's inflation, what happened in Venezuela, what happened in El Salvador, where your fiat money crashed. The value of gold has still remained the same. Same thing when it comes to Bitcoin. Bitcoin is digital gold. If you own just 0.25% of Bitcoin, 25% of Bitcoin, people think, I can't afford to purchase a whole Bitcoin. You don't have to. You can buy pieces of it. So if you were just to get 25% of a Bitcoin and hold it for the next 5 years, you will be in the top 1% of all asset holders in the entire world. 1% of all asset holders in the entire world. And every single one of you has that opportunity. So how you do this is set yourself up with the budget. If you only have $5, that's okay. $50, that's okay. $100 every single month, just purchase Bitcoin at a time. Don't worry about what the price of it is today. Right now, I got excited when I saw Bitcoin drop by 20%. Where if you go on the internet, those that are not educated are panicking. They're thinking that they lost all their money. See, this is like real estate. The only way you lose is when you sell. I make more money when the market goes down than I do when the market goes up. Because when the market goes down, I buy more. You buy low and you sell high. So if you were to buy a house, real estate, and I'm sure there's a lot of you that know a lot about real estate in the room. If you were to buy a house, and let's say here in California, it's very expensive. A house costs anywhere between $750,000 to $1.2 million for a home in LA County. And what if you buy the house at $750,000? And then all of a sudden it goes down in value to $500,000. And you're like, whoa, my house just dropped in value. Did you lose money? No, only if you sold it at $500,000. If you wait till the market turns around, which it always does, and next thing you know, your house is now worth $1.2 million. If you sell it then, you just made money. Bitcoin works the same way. Yes, it is volatile. It is going to go like this. But if you look from the beginning, it goes like this, but it's still always going up. So if you do not engage in this space today, you will be at you're doing yourself a disservice. Your children and your grandchildren are going to remember and read about this time in history in their history books. And they're going to say, what did grandma and grandpa do when the greatest economic shift in wealth was taking place? Did they get involved? And the sad thing about technology today is that we have social media. Social media records everything we do. We're on Facebook, we're on Twitter, making TikTok videos, we're on YouTube, and our grandchildren are going to be able to see exactly what we had for dinner last night because we posted it. They're going to see what we were doing at this time. I can't say the same for my grandparents because there was no internet back in their day. When I say, why didn't my grandparents get involved with the internet and the 80s and all that, all the economic boom of those times? But we have that opportunity now, but it all begins with education. I have 4 rules I live by in the crypto space, and you might want to write these things down. Rule number 1, education is key. Education is everything. Number 1, I have people that come to me and say, Brandon, I've got $50,000. Where should I put it? I want to become a Bitcoin millionaire. Well, let me tell you right now, you're not going to become a Bitcoin millionaire. There's only one path to that. That is if you were to buy a whole Bitcoin for what is it, $36,000, $37,000 right now, and then hold it and wait for Bitcoin to be worth $1 million. I believe it will, but that might not happen for another 5 to 10 years. But you can become a crypto millionaire because there are a lot of other coins on the market besides Bitcoin. That's going to get you a much greater return. I'll give you an example. Ethereum. Ethereum right now is, I think it just got below $3,000. But Ethereum eventually is going to be, in my opinion, worth $40,000 a coin. So what if you had 10 of them, 15 of them, and you held it for the next 2 years. And next thing you know, it's 20,000, 40,000 a coin. You're going to get far more for your money on Ethereum than you would Bitcoin. Same goes for any of the other coins like Ripple, or you've heard stories from Shiba Inu, for example, people becoming millionaires overnight when they only spend $1,000. Do you want to know my best day in crypto? I spent $750 on a project, on a token. 3 months later, I sold it for $60,000. I made more money in one day than most people make a year on their job from that one move. But my education allowed me, because I had a partner who spent $15,000 on that same token. I spent $750. He spent $15,000. So you would think if I made $60,000, he probably made millions, right? Wrong. He didn't. And here's why. When I saw the market going down, I used my education and I was able to tell this token is only going to go so high. Even though the people behind the token and other experts were saying, oh, it's going to go to $1. We're all going to get rich. Just hold, don't sell. And I looked at the market and said, there's no way this coin is going to go to $1. It's not possible. But I had the education that told me that. I didn't need to listen to anybody else. And I told my friend, I said, once it got to 21 cents, I said, we need to sell. Now, at the time, we didn't need the money. We had enough money coming in. We didn't need the money. So I said to him, yeah, we don't need the money, but we're going to lose our investment. And he said, just hold it for another 6 months. When it goes to $1, we'll have multiple millions. I didn't follow him. I saw it start to go down and I sold it at 17 cents. And he didn't. And after I sold it, it went all the way down to less than a penny. He didn't make anything where I made 60,000. And that's because of crypto education. So how do you get crypto education? How do you get started to learn about this? Let's get you plugged in. I told you rule number 1, crypto education is key. It is everything. Rule number 2, never invest money you cannot afford to lose. Okay? Don't invest money you can't afford to lose. Even though this is a risky space, minimize your risk. If you spend money on something, will you survive if you lose it all? If the answer is no, don't do it. Rule number 3, always get a return on your investment back as fast as possible. Don't get greedy. I know another story of a friend of mine who got greedy and lost $100,000. My other friend lost millions because he got greedy. At least get your money back. So now you're playing with house money after that. You're not going to be hurt if you lose it. Rule number 4, set goals for yourself. Where do you see yourself in 3 months, 6 months, a year from now? What are you willing to do to make that happen? You want to find a vehicle, take action, stay focused, and do not get distracted. The crypto space is huge. Remember, I said at the beginning, it's going to disrupt every single industry in the world today. So there are many ways you can find how you can make money in the crypto space, but you can't do it all. We all have limited resources, so you have to be targeted. You have to be smart about it. That means sometimes you're going to have to say no to great opportunities and focus on the ones that you can do and build on those. You can't do everything. So have a short-term game plan and a long-term game plan and a strategy that fits you. What's good for me may not work for you based on your strategy. I know how to day trade, but I don't like to do it. I made a lot of money day trading, but I didn't like the lifestyle that I'm looking at the charts 24/7. Go to the bathroom one time and I missed out on a big trade. I didn't like doing that. So I created a different strategy for myself to still make millions of dollars. So you can figure out a strategy for yourself. Now, following these rules is not going to guarantee you success, but it will at least minimize your risk. That's the most that you can ask for, because this is a volatile space. There are no guarantees except one. I guarantee you will lose money in this space. somewhere along the way. I don't know when, where, or how much, but you will. I've lost $250,000 in this space, but my education, I've made far more money than I've lost. Without the education, you're going to end up at risk of losing everything. So how do you get crypto education? Well, this is one of the reasons why I was invited to Digicon. We are having what we call a 5-day virtual Bitcoin boot camp that actually starts on Monday. A 5-day boot camp for 1 hour a day. We're going to be covering a specific topic, and there's no cost. It is free. Normally, I do Bitcoin boot camps where I travel from city to city, but because of COVID in the United States, we're not able to do that. So we're doing it virtually, which means anybody around the world can plug in. Register for free. I'm going to put in the chat box a link that you can use to register for free. So use that link, register for free. And I'm sure those in the room will let you guys know. And you're going to learn, we're going to talk about who is Satoshi Nakamoto, you know, the person who created the whole crypto blockchain space. We're going to talk about what Bitcoin and blockchain is. We're going to talk about what cryptocurrency is, how to get it, how to get involved, how to get your wallet. We're also going to talk about a game plan on how to become the path of a crypto millionaire and a crypto billionaire. And that's going to be starting Monday at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific, every day all the way through Friday. And I'm also giving away free stuff. On the last day, I'm going to be giving away free Bitcoin to our members. So I know people want to have some free Bitcoin to get started. We're going to be doing that as well. So that is, they're telling me my time is running up. That is a quick, just short introduction to the crypto. This space has changed a lot of lives. It can change your life if you get involved, if you get engaged to become, in fact, I have a guy that's just turned 24 years old that is working full time in this space and made a lot of money in a short period of time because he's educated. Don't worry about how young you are or how old you are. In fact, there's a book called The Early Bird Gets the Bitcoin that was written by an 11-year-old. So anybody can get in this space. The hottest space right now for 2022 is going to be DeFi, NFTs, and Metaverse. And I'm going to have crypto courses that's going to cover all of those key things. Just like last year, it was about smart contracts and DeFi. 2017, it was about ICO. So every year there's a new thing. But the future is about the whole metaverse space. Augmented reality, virtual reality, gaming, and it's very, very exciting time to be alive. So what I want to be able to do is have any question and answers. So I'm going to turn it back on over to our host. And again, thank you for inviting me to be here. It is still for me 3:35 a.m. in the morning, and I'm proud to be here to share with you guys. And I know who is going to be the next crypto millionaire sitting in that room is what I'm looking at. Who's going to be the next one? Who's going to change their family tree by getting involved? So see some people, you're going to raise your hand because I know I am, right? But it's not, can't happen if you do absolutely nothing and you're just sitting there watching it go by. You want to know one of the biggest things that just happened here? I live in Los Angeles, California. And if you know sports, and we have the NBA, the National Basketball League. And I live in where we have the Los Angeles Lakers with LeBron James and Kobe Bryant before, and Shaquille O'Neal and Magic Johnson. For 20 years, the building that they used to play in was called Staples Center. Staples Center for 20 years. It has now been renamed Crypto.com Arena. Crypto.com Arena, the biggest venue in downtown Los Angeles. We have the Olympics coming here soon. The entire world is now waking up to Bitcoin and crypto, and we can rewrite our own destiny with this service. So thank you guys for inviting me here. I apologize for the early technical difficulties just getting started. I'll make sure it's clear, and I'll still stick around here for any questions and answers.
Can we celebrate Ivy Brandon? Celebrate someone that just gave himself. Come on now, you're the best audience ever. Energy. Thank you, Brandon. You're the best. Thank you for giving us your time. Thank you for sharing all of those tips with us. I mean, the 4 tips you just shared is everything. Education is key. Education is everything. Never invest money you cannot afford to lose. Because some people will invest all of their life savings and then something happens and then you see them running helter skelter. Everything has finished. So please don't invest money that you cannot afford to lose. Always get a return on investment as fast as possible. All right. And then finally, set goals for yourself. So, Digicon Fest, celebrate Brandon Ivey once again. Energy now. You're the best audience. I'm not hyping you for hyping's sake. Come on. Don't fall my hand, though. Thank you very much. All right, do you have questions? Brandon is still around. Can we have Brandon's face up, please? Please, let's have his face up so we can see him and he can see us. So by show of hands, if you have questions, just about 2 questions, please, I won't take more than 2. So first come, first served. 1, see you now. See you come since you answer me. 2, 3. Okay, I'll take those 3 questions quickly. Brandon, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Beautiful. All right, quickly, let's start with you. So come. So Brandon can see you. Come. So face this camera.
Brandy, thank you for the education. I just want to say a very big thank you. My question is, how can we get more education from you? Are you on YouTube? How can we follow you? Because I started a year ago, but I still want to go deeper because I know there are big things to learn. I know it's been about 5 years now, so I want to know. So I want to know how to follow you, how to become your student. Thank you.
Oh, well, great question. Well, the first thing is that I posted a link and I'll share it there where we are doing our crypto virtual boot camp that's starting next week. So once you register, then I'll be able to send you more information about when we have more upcoming events, be able to get access to our educational videos. And also I do crypto talks almost daily where I cover the news on what's going on in the crypto space on Facebook Live. On my Facebook page, you can find me. I'm Bitcoin Brandon on Facebook. And you can look me up on YouTube. Just type in Bitcoin Brandon and my YouTube videos will pop up. But for right now, the biggest is you want to get plugged in to the virtual boot camp that is next week, and that is free. And we have a private Facebook group once you register that you'll get all that access to, but I'm easily accessible. I'm visible on social media.
All right. Thank you so much, Brandon. The next question. Please say your name, what you do, so Brandon can get to meet you. Next week now I can ask you to come to the US to meet him.
Thank you very much. My name is Lionel. I own a company, Dodge Ventures. I'm into exchange. I really want to know more about crypto pre-sales. That's the only question.
Did you get that?
Crypto pre-sales.
I'm not sure I know what you mean. Crypto preserves?
Yeah, pre-sales. Pre-sales.
Oh, pre-sale. Oh, okay.
Yeah, pre-sales, yes.
So that's the biggest thing people want to know is how do I get in on tokens before anybody else knows about them? And that is tricky. There's not a website that is announcing, this is what we're doing. What you want to do is you have to keep up with the news. So I follow websites like dailyhodl.com, Cointelegraph, and sometimes they give updates about there's a new project that we're looking into that hasn't gone live yet. There's blockchain.com, just crypto communities on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter. There's a lot of different private community groups where they're sharing about a new project that's going live. Tomorrow night, for example, I'm doing what I call a late night crypto talk that happens at 10 p.m. Eastern. So that should be, I don't know, maybe 6 or 7 a.m. your guys' time, where I have a project called Euphoria, for example, that is a metaverse project and NFTs where you can actually purchase land in this virtual world like Ready Player One, and they have a brand new token that's also coming out that's in pre-launch right now. It just went into pre-launch today. So when I find out information about new opportunities, I share it with my community as well. And how I find out is either by just somebody calls me up and says, "Hey, Brandon, have you heard about this new project?" Then I check it out, we'll research it, and we'll bring it up. I had a crypto talk a couple of days ago with a project called TOAX, where you're able to purchase NFTs and coins that's still in pre-launch. So that's just two pre-launch opportunities right there. But there's no guarantee that these things are gonna explode. These are the most risky because they haven't proven themselves yet and they're brand new. But if you're willing to take that risk and they do succeed, there's a huge reward on the other side of that. But again, this is where your education will allow you to be able to tell, is this something that's going to be real? Who are the owners of the project? What is the long-term vision of the company? Do they have a white paper that I can read? Is this not going to be just a pump and dump? Because there are. Even though you might have heard of Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Ripple, there's more than 12,000 tokens out there. Like 50 to 70 new tokens a day are coming out, and most of those are going to go nowhere. So you have limited resources. You got to be smart about where you're going to put them. And I don't take that many risks. All the new coins, I wait till they have a little bit behind them. But if you do, then it can be rewarding for you. You just got to plug into the communities.
All right, thank you so much, Brandon. A final question. Your name, what you do?
All right, my name is Solomon, and I'm a web developer. Okay. The question is there any features you can see on a project that will give you the like if they are having a crypto project, and is there any feature that you see in it that will make you to believe that this particular project is going to grow well or give a return in investment? Thank you.
So I think your question is, how do you know if a project is going to go well and you'll receive good on your investment?
Yeah, exactly. How can you identify? Yeah,
Okay,
that's
so
my
first,
question.
again, there's no guarantee. Every project is a risk, but there are things you can look for. I call these red flags that you want to avoid. And a couple of red flags is, number one, who are the owners of the project? Are they accessible? Or are they some nameless face somewhere that they're not on the website, you never see them? Where is the project getting started? Is it somewhere that you can find, or is it somewhere in Dubai or Brazil with no address and there's no office, there's no owners behind it? It's just a nameless figure. That's a red flag. Are they guaranteeing you anything? Anytime you see anywhere that says guarantee, run from it. Even if they can do what they say they can do, you can never guarantee in this space. For example, if you get involved with us, we guarantee you're going to make 1%, 2%, or 3% a day on your money. How many of you in the room has ever heard of that before? Everybody. And I know you may not want to raise your hand on this. How many of you have got involved with things like that before? This is when people put in their life savings on something because they think I'm going to get 3% a day on my money, but I can't withdraw my money for 8 months to a year. And when you're ready to withdraw your money, they run off with all your money to a different country. And you just got scammed over and over and over again. There's no such thing as that. Those don't work. That's another major red flag. What are their goals? If they say, well, we're just trying to make as much money as we can, we're figuring this out as we go, you want to run from that. Do they have a long-term goal? And then the last is, what is the real world use case? Is there anything real to this project? Or is it just something they made up and they copied somebody else's white paper? Those red flags are easy to spot. And again, they may not have an intent to scam people, but they have a low probability of success. So even if you put your money in it and they have those things in place, it's not going to go long, because in the crypto space, it's all about liquidity. It's all about volume. How much money is going to be in that space to hold it up? So if you're the only one who put $5,000 in and nobody else did, that value is never going to rise and you'll never be able to get a return on your money. So I hope that makes sense.
he does. Come on, let's celebrate Brandon Ivey. I'm not happy with you now. Come on now. And Brandon, this is just a half of our audience. I have some amazing set of people here. I think these people here, they have plenty money, so they are not answering me. You have money too, amen. I don't mean you don't have money. You have money, but please celebrate Brandon too. Thank you. Thank you. I didn't leave you out. I'm also for you and for everybody. Thank you so much, Brandon. You've been amazing. We really appreciate. Enjoy the rest of your day and we'll reach you soon.
No problem. Thank you very much, everybody. Bye-bye.
All right, let's move on.